Scottie Scheffler won the Players' Championship, so now we look towards the Masters. I will say, I came in here last Monday, and I had talked about, how Scottie Scheffler had, like, changed these putters, and now he was able to putt, and that was, like, really the only thing holding him back, that these numbers had just been freakish on all, like, the advanced analytics with the golfers in terms of ball striking and tee to green and all this kind of stuff. He just couldn't putt. And they were like, if he just putted average, he would have won like 1 million tournaments, right? Well, he changed to this mallet putter, and now he's putting, and he's winning. And it was, you got everyone in the golf media community yesterday saying, this is the first time since Tiger that it has felt like this. That there is a guy, right? He's the guy. He was 5 strokes back going into yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's like, Xander Schauffele, not the guy. Wyndham Clark, not the guy. And poor Wyndham Clark had a ball go all the way into the hole and snap back out. And that's how Scottie Scheffler won.
I saw it.
God, it was the worst.
So he's trying to do what Tiger's the last one to do it, or the only one to do it, when the Players and the Masters in the same year. Tiger did it in 2001.
Well, and of course now Scottie, because nobody has really taken the bull by the horns, and the only thing is he's got to win the majors. That's the thing.
He's got to win the majors.
He's got to win the majors, but he is very clearly the best golfer in the world right now.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool yesterday. They were asking him about how do you stay so grounded, right? With all the success and whatever. Because I think that's one of the things the Netflix show is showing, and we've talked about it a lot with. Many times I came in here with the Morant stuff, and I said this is this. In many cases, you could say it's a story of bad behavior or whatever. I said a bigger part of this is the story of fame, and watching fame change someone and fame get to someone, and nobody really cares about what you're doing or paying attention to what you're doing, and now you're being pulled 100 different ways, and you can't go out anywhere, and you don't know how to deal with it. There's no textbook, and there's nobody to turn to because everybody around you, they're going through it as well, and so you see a lot of people crash and burn, with that, and then have to have, hopefully it doesn't end poorly, and that's what we've all prayed for with the Ja stuff, right? That you get the redemption story, and there's all kinds of people. I just watched Robert Downey Jr. stand up and win an Oscar last week. It happens all the time, right? Where people get overtaken by fame, pressure, whatever it may be, start acting out, do something dangerous, do something wild, do something criminal, and then snap out of it, right? It's like that's the wake-up call or whatever, and it happens all the time. And so I'm not saying that this is true of golfers necessarily, but what I am saying is you've seen a lot of young guys come through and be amazing, and then it's like, next tournament I go to, I've got to do 5 sponsors appearances, and I've got to do these commercials, and I got to do this GQ photo shoot. It's like, they always tell you this, right? All the old veterans try to implore to the young players, make the main thing the main thing. Don't let it get in the way. And I told you that story about how my buddy was college roommates with Scheffler, and when I tried to get the Masters thing from him, he's like, bro, he turns his phone off. So I'm not going to be able to get a hold of him, but I'll try to get a hold of the wife. And that was that was Monday of the Masters. He's like, you can't get a hold of him. He turns his phone off.
Honestly, good for him.
And I was like, and yesterday somebody asked him, how do you stay so grounded through all of this, right? Rather than have all of this stuff kind of overtake you and affect your golf game, right? And he said, number one, I appreciate that question, right? And that somebody thinks of me that way. And he said, I had unbelievable parents. I believe in God, and I believe in my religion. And he said, I've got an unbelievable wife and friends around me all the time. And he goes, and they don't care if I shoot 75 today and I didn't win, or if I just won. And he goes, and it's not that we won't celebrate. He goes, everybody's going to be happy and celebrate tonight. He's like, my Monday will be no different. That's just not my life. The people around me aren't consumed with what I'm doing,
right?
Or how I'm finishing in these tournaments. And he's like, so I owe it to them. That's how you stay grounded, right? If everybody's, if it's life or death all the time, he's like, everybody's fine. He's like, my Monday, I won the Players, but like my Monday's not going to be any different than my Monday would be if I wouldn't have. And you can see how that could, like, you know. And he obviously is keeping the first things first. You don't see him.
No.
They're not promoting him like, and he's not out there. He somewhere along the way, very early, probably learned the ability to say no.
Yeah.
Or just not answer.
Yeah. Just not
You know?
answer.
And
And
so,
you turn your phone off, it's like,
well, there's millions of dollars to be made by this stuff. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I also understand how it becomes, like, I mean, if you watch that Netflix show, Rory McIlroy does a billion things.
a billion things.
That's hard.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to remember, like, I'm a professional golfer. Even Joel Damon said, I became so famous from the first season of Netflix that, like, the golf suffered. Because now people want, because he's famous, not because he was great at golf,
Yeah.
but because he's famous, people want him to do this event. People want him to come shake hands with all the sponsors at the event, right? Like, he's
Yeah.
like a name. He's somebody people are excited to meet.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep the first things first, right? But as I've told you many times, you think about any individual sport, and whether that was Tiger Woods, whether that was Venus Williams, whether that was Usain Bolt, whether that is any individual sport, they got to have somebody dominant in it. Somebody's got to be the guy that everybody else thinks is the guy to beat. Because that way it means something. A, he's the guy that everybody wants to see. Is he going to do it again? And it means something if you beat him.
Yeah.
Because the guy's in the top 5 literally all the time. But now he's like winning everything because he's making putts. So it's the best thing that can happen for golf is to have like somebody unbeatable. Same way it happens in all those sports, literally any sport, right? People want to see if Novak Djokovic gets knocked off. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Right? You got to have that rather than
What's
just
he to win the
bunch of
Masters
good
now?
guys. Oh, it's got. I bet.
He was like 8-1.
Dude,
It's
I
probably,
bet he's 4.
All right,
I bet
let's
he's plus
see.
400. That's what I'd guess. After yesterday, I mean, he's running away with this stuff. P.S. He had a neck injury all week at this Players' Championship.
He is plus 450.
He had a neck injury all week.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon